One of the main reasons people are attracted to crypto investing is the potential to make serious money. I'm talking the kind of money that can change your family tree. But that garage filled with Ferraris comes at a cost. And that cost is taxes. Yes, taxes. Well, at least for most countries. For the lucky few who live in Antigua and Barbuda, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you in the next video. For the rest of you, pay close attention because there are plenty of stories of people who lost everything and even went to prison for evading taxes on their crypto wealth. In this video, I'm going to help you maximize your crypto gains and stay out of the clink all at the same time. Were you even aware that it's your responsibility to report all of your crypto transactions to the government every year? Well, it is. And there are applications specifically designed to help you and your accountant file an accurate and fair account of all your crypto transactions every year. They are collectively referred to as CryptoTax apps. And all of them are web-based applications. That is, you access them through your web browser. As you get more comfortable with Bitcoin and crypto, you naturally start expanding your crypto portfolio and trading techniques. This will often lead to self-hosted wallets, decentralized exchanges, and even decentralized finance applications. While diversifying your holdings and your income streams may be a good financial decision, it wreaks havoc on your neatly organized crypto portfolio. I can tell you from experience, there is no way to track all of the transactions you're doing by hand. For instance, a single purchase order for Bitcoin on an exchange can take dozens or even hundreds of microtransactions to fill. Each one of those transactions has a different cost basis that needs to be calculated and managed in order to maximize your gains and minimize your tax implications. And it's not just capital gains we're talking about. There are a litany of IRS and FinCEN forms you need to fill out every year as well. And the penalties for not doing so are extraordinary. For instance, if you simply space out filling out an FBAR form and you're supposed to, boom, you just lost $10,000. And if the IRS can prove that you willingly didn't fill out an FBAR form, you are charged a $100,000 fine for every single account that you needed to fill out the FBAR form for. You can see how these fines can rise dramatically. The forms provided by these tax applications are typically a 1040 Schedule 1 and a 1040 Schedule D and Form 8949. But your reporting responsibilities may include FinCEN Form 114, FBAR, FATCA, Form 1040 Schedule A, Form 1040 Schedule C, Form 709, Form 4684, and Form 14039. That is crazy. And you thought you were good with using a spreadsheet. Not a chance. These tax applications will also help you keep track of any income you receive from crypto sales, airdrops, NFT sales, gifts, and staking interest. Having all that information in one place can help you decide what to sell, when to sell it, and even what type of tax basis to use if and when you sell your crypto. I spent the last few weeks creating accounts with and exploring nearly a dozen crypto tax applications. That's really exciting, huh? In today's video, we're going to take an in-depth look into 6 of them. Listen, there are plenty of options when it comes to crypto tax applications, but I believe these 6 have the potential to fill your crypto tax application requirements. My goal is to help you save time, money, and unnecessary stress by helping you make the right decision from the beginning. Because, like switching banks, switching tax applications is expensive, difficult, and just a pain in the ass. That's why it's crucial to make the right decision in the beginning. I am not an accountant or a financial advisor, so do not take anything I tell you in this video as financial or tax advice. That said, I am going to make a recommendation later on in the video based on my experience and my preferences. What's right for me might not be right for you. Side note, when it comes to preparing your crypto taxes, your accountant is not going to do any of this stuff for you. You are on your own. Your obligation is to give them, at the very least, a spreadsheet of all of your crypto transactions from the entire year. Preferably, you give them the appropriate tax forms filled out already by the tax application. Many of these applications provide a link to your accountant so that they can get in there and download the forms right from your account themselves. And several of the applications have a special hub and software designed for accountants so that they can manage all of their clients' crypto tax obligations in one place. Now, for each application I'm reviewing, I created an account, I synced it with my exchanges, and I uploaded my own crypto spreadsheets. Each program got the same data and used it to produce wildly different performance data and tax obligations. It was crazy how different one application was from another. To be fair, the applications did not have my entire history of crypto transactions. So a lot of the transactions that I gave them were what I call orphaned. That is, crypto went from an exchange out into a wallet, but it doesn't have the data from the wallet, so it doesn't know where that crypto went. Now, some applications mark that as a taxable event, and some just say, oh, I don't know where it went, so it doesn't mean anything. And that's why the results were so different between applications. But two applications did stand out for their accuracy. Now that we set the stage for simplifying your crypto tax journey, I actually want to explain how I'm going to be looking at each one of these tax applications. For the features section, I'm looking at whether or not it has a dashboard, whether or not it has a portfolio, the number of coins, exchanges, and wallets that it syncs with, and whether it has tax loss harvesting capabilities or cost basis calculation. At least it should be easy to tell whether you're in profit or a loss. As far as security goes, is the application encrypted, and does it allow you to implement 2FA, two-factor authentication system for login protection? That's super important for security. As far as each application's accuracy, that's really hard to tell because I gave the applications limited data. So they all should be completely wrong, but there was sort of a thread of truth running down the middle, and some of the applications were closer to that than others. Also, I want to see a very large number of flagged transactions, or at least transactions that it says, where did this money go? I don't understand. And it should be able to flag those so that you can check to see where that went, because it's not knowing where that crypto went, and it doesn't know whether to tax it or not to tax it. Also, I'm looking at whether the tax applications produce the appropriate tax forms. That is Schedule 1, Schedule D, and 8949. I think most of them all do that, but one of them in particular has really a large selection of advanced forms. Now, you have to keep in mind these accounts that I made with all of these tax applications were not paid. I do have a paid account with one application because I use that for my personal taxes, and it's actually not the one I'm recommending at the end, so stick around. But I don't know if there are more advanced forms available behind a paywall on all of the other applications. On the application I'm using, you wouldn't know that the application produces these more advanced tax forms unless you paid. So there's a possibility that the other applications could make available more advanced tax forms. It's just hidden behind a paywall. I'm also looking at pricing, and to keep it consistent, what is the price for the tax application for 1,000 transactions per year? And then at the end, I give it a 1 out of 10 in terms of the user experience. And then at the very end of the video, I will make a recommendation for a tax application, at least the way I looked at it. Okay, so let's get into CoinLedger, our first crypto tax app. Now, when you first log in, you're taken to the tax reports tab. There are 4 tabs at the top now: import, transactions, tax reports, and portfolio. The portfolio tab is brand new and still in beta, but it actually functions pretty well. And if you look at the homepage, they don't have a dashboard. So I guess you could use the portfolio as a dashboard if you wanted to. It's probably the best thing to do. But when I logged into the application, it took me right to the tax reports tab, and it doesn't have what most of the other programs have and call a dashboard that sort of shows you everything you own, your performance, your capital gains, everything all neatly tidy in one place. And I did not like this UI on CoinLedger very much at all, actually. I felt kind of lost the whole time. And in the portfolio, it shows you the cost basis for your investments and the value of your portfolio. Over to the right, you can see your tax activity each year. and then your assets down below are listed by asset, and you can change that and have it listed by exchange or wallet, and that's actually kind of a nice feature. In addition, it does tell you your cost basis per asset at the bottom of the portfolio, and if you click on one of the coins, it drops down and it does show you where you have those coins and how much is in each wallet. But it doesn't show you what the cost basis was for the coins in that particular wallet, so you don't know which ones to sell or anything like that. It's getting there. So then back to the tax reports tab, you can list the tax reports by year by clicking a drop-down menu. And on the right side, it shows your tax calculation methods. I couldn't find anywhere where there was the ability to do or calculate tax loss harvesting. And eventually I did find it, but it looks like it's behind a paywall. So I wasn't able to access that feature at all. They also don't list the number of coins, wallets, and exchanges, but that's neither here nor there, because while the other applications do list a number, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 different wallets, coins, and exchanges that they sync with, those numbers are ridiculous because I just picked some random exchanges that they said they synced with, and they didn't. What they meant was, if you upload a list of all your transactions neatly formatted to match their exact specifications, they will import that data for you and therefore sync with that particular exchange or wallet. And it's really frustrating because they say they automatically sync with these exchanges and wallets, and there's nothing automatic about it at all. Looking past the features of CoinLedger, we have security. It does not have a way to turn on two-factor authentication that I could find. All the other applications except one, you could turn on two-factor authentication to improve the security of the login. And all of the applications have the data encrypted on their servers. So that's across the board. All of these applications take great care to encrypt the data that they're storing. As far as accuracy, CoinLedger did have a really extensive list of transactions without a cost basis, which was good. It only flagged 16 transactions that it was just completely clueless on, but I did find a list of transactions that was really extensive that were missing a cost basis. So that was good. I was expecting that, and I wanted to see that. They do offer Schedule 1, Schedule D, and Form 8949, like all of the applications, and they do not offer, from what I could tell, FBAR, FinCEN, or FATCA forms. In fact, there's only one application that I know for sure fills those forms out for you, and we'll get to that in a minute. The pricing for 1,000 transactions per year is only $99 with CoinLedger, which is a pretty reasonable pricing. And unfortunately, I gave this rating, the user experience rating, a 5. I didn't give it a 5 at first because the interface is quite snappy and responsive. But when I looked at the other tax applications available, then I looked back at CoinLedger, I was really disappointed with the user interface. It just needs a refresh and modernization and updating. Okay, so that was my experience with CoinLedger. The next application we're going to look at is the one that I use personally. And I have a bias because I use it personally, and it's not a good bias. This program is ZenLedger.io, and while it's a really accurate application, it is a really difficult one to use and does not sync with a lot of chains, wallets, and exchanges. It is extraordinarily manual-based crypto tax application, and it is difficult to use. Now, I'm used to it, and frankly, I didn't know there were alternatives. Now I do, and I'm actually going to be switching to one that I recommend later on. So let's take a look at ZenLedger.io. When you log into ZenLedger, you're presented with, oh my goodness, a dashboard. And it's really nice to have a home base. And I don't know why I felt like I needed this dashboard, but later on the programs get even better and better and their dashboards get amazing. The last 3 programs in particular. So ZenLedger does have a dashboard. It's pretty rudimentary, but it gives you a general sense of what you're holding, but not in too much detail. It does have the market prices of some tokens in the upper left, and a summary of your crypto taxes on the right-hand side, and then a summary of your holdings on the left side. But you really can't get much more data than just you're holding, 5 Ethereum and 0.5 Bitcoin or whatever. So it's really low-level information. It shows your import history, your recent transactions, and that's about it. Not much else on there. So while it is a dashboard, it doesn't really give you a ton of information. In addition, there's an import tab at the top where you would go to import an exchange or a wallet. And again, it does not sync with a lot of exchanges, wallets, and coins. Unfortunately, I myself have imported 57 spreadsheets that I made by hand. And the spreadsheets have, some of them, over 1,000 transactions that I had to go through manually and format this spreadsheet. It's just really complicated, and it is not an easy program to use. It is very accurate, at least I think it is, and it's just what I've used for the last 7 years. And then the next selection on the top is transactions, where you have a list of your crypto transactions, and if you have items that need review, it does sort of give that warning to you right away in your face there, and you can sort them by different columns, and like most of the applications. Then the next tab is taxes. Gives you a summary of your taxes, short-term gain, long-term gain for the year, and this is where ZenLedger shines, the tax forms section. ZenLedger has, of course, your Schedule 1, your Schedule D, and your 8949 form that all of the applications have, but also it has FBAR, FinCEN, it has Schedules A and IRS Form 709, IRS Form 4684, and IRS Form 14039. ZenLedger has a comprehensive suite of tax forms that I haven't found in any other application. Now, they might be behind a paywall, so that's possible. That is a very comprehensive list of forms. If the application doesn't fill it out for you, they give you a link to the form and you can fill it out right online. In terms of forms, there is no application that has more forms than ZenLedger. I'm sorry, I skipped one. As far as tax loss harvesting, ZenLedger says they do have a tax loss harvesting report, which I have produced, and it is worthless. That is, it tells me that I potentially have a loss in some tokens that I haven't owned for years. And it says that I need to sell them. Well, I haven't owned them for a long time, so it's not going to help me with my tax situation. They also have a feature called Grand Unified Accounting feature, and they tout this feature on their website over and over. Believe me, it is worthless. It's just a simple list of the year and then how much long-term capital gains and how much short-term capital gains you have for that year. That's it. That's their Grand Unified Accounting. As far as security goes, like every application, ZenLedger's data is encrypted, and they do have a 2FA security feature. ZenLedger flagged a crazy amount of transactions for review, so that was good. Again, I think it's a very accurate application. As far as pricing goes, for 1,000 transactions, the cost is $127 per year, pretty reasonable, and I gave it a user experience of 6 out of 10. Not great, but a little better than CoinLedger because it has more forms and it seems like it's more accurate. But again, not a great user experience. Okay, on to the third contender. This one is from an Australian-based company called CryptoTaxCalculator.io. CryptoTaxCalculator.io is the first application we're looking at that has what we call a dark mode. So the screenshots are all black background, and then the rest of the applications we look at all have dark mode as well. You can switch all of the other applications, including this one, to a light mode, and it does, in some circumstances, make it easier to read, but I like having the option to switch between light and dark, and generally I prefer to look at the dark screen rather than this bright white screen. When you first log in, you're presented with what they call the portfolio, which serves as their dashboard as well. So at the top here of the portfolio, you have a graph of your holdings and the cost basis ongoing. It's kind of nice. On the right-hand side, your total return, your unrealized capital gain or loss, and the amount you've invested, along with the net proceeds of your crypto and the number of fees paid. Then below that, a neat little pie chart of your token allocation, and that is really neat to look at. Alongside that, To the right is a graph of the winners and losers in your portfolio, which is really neat, and this is the only one that has that. And then at the bottom, most of the applications have something similar to this, which is just a listing of your assets that you can click on one of the assets and look at more detailed information, including where those assets are. So let's say you have 10 Ethereum tokens. Well, one is in this wallet, one is on this exchange, 2 is in this wallet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can tell where they are and how much a bunch of tokens are worth. And then on the right side is the unrealized gain for each token, not necessarily each wallet. And you can sort by these columns as well. So that is really neat. Well done. So their portfolio and dashboard are together. It doesn't tell you exactly how many coins, wallets, and exchanges, but when I did sync the data that I had with CryptoTax Calculator, it synced mostly well, not great. There were some that were still not able to sync with the program, but more than the other applications I had tested. So that was an improvement. But some major crypto chains like Cosmos and VeChain, it couldn't sync with, so you would have to add those transactions manually. It does have a tax loss harvesting feature, and then under security, you can implement a 2FA system for login protection, and of course the data is encrypted. As far as accuracy go, I couldn't tell how many transactions were flagged because that information is behind a paywall, so you'd have to pay to see how many transactions. It doesn't understand or have missing cost basis. Then it does provide Schedule 1D and 8949, and I couldn't tell if there were any available FBAR, FinCEN, or FATCA forms. The pricing for 1,000 transactions for CryptoTax Calculator is $99. Again, pretty reasonable. And I thought the user experience was a 7 out of 10. I like this program. Now, I do have one complaint, and you might be able to see this in the screenshots. The font of the program was really hard to read because it's so fine, and my eyes are not getting better with age, they're getting worse. It was really a challenge, and only a little bit better when I switched it to light mode. Not much better, but a little. Now we're going to turn our attention to the fourth contender in the crypto tax application showdown, and that is Koinly.io. In terms of dashboards, Koinly's dashboard was amazing, and actually it was the best out of all the 6 applications I tested. When you log into Koinly, you're presented with this really neat dashboard, and it is a 3-tab type of dashboard. There's an overview tab, and next to that there's an NFT tab, and then a tax optimization tab, which is their version of tax loss harvesting, and I'll get to that in a second. It is outstanding. All right, back to the overview tab. The top of the page, like a lot of them, is a graph of your portfolio's performance, including the cost basis and the value of your holdings at the moment. And then on the right side is a breakdown of your transactions, the amount of money that you've received, the amount of money you sent, your income, expenses, etc. And then, of course, a list of your holdings, and each of the holdings is expandable, so you can see what wallet is holding what amount of crypto. Again, that's a really nice feature. And then on the right-hand side, on the lower right-hand side, is a pie chart of your holdings. Again, fantastically done. And they even go as far as listing the amount of fiat you have sitting on exchanges. It is really well done. Then under the NFT tab, you have a collection of your NFTs, and this is the first one that has a collection of your NFTs, except the problem here is it lists all of the NFTs. And I don't know if many of you know this, but when you have a browser wallet and you interact with a NFT company or NFT source, it's not uncommon to get NFTs dumped into your wallet, junk NFTs. Many of them are scams. If you click on them to look at the NFT, they install some malicious software and they can drain your wallet instantly. So don't ever click on an NFT that you didn't buy. Super important. But in this portfolio, it lists all the junk NFTs that have been put in my wallets by other people. And in reality, I've only purchased 5 of these. So it's crazy. And then they have a tax optimization area, which is tax loss harvesting. And that is a really neat feature because on the left-hand side, there's little checkboxes, and you can click on that and see the impact on your taxes if you sell that particular asset right now. It is really neat, and nobody else has that type of feature. Then, of course, there's a tab for wallets where you can add a wallet or an exchange, and then a list of your transactions, and then a list of tax reports. And again, I don't know if they have FinCEN, FBAR, or FATCA forms available because they might be available behind the paywall. They also have a list of transactions that need to be reviewed here just to make sure that your tax reports are accurate. And then, of course, they have a settings tab. So this application was really neat. I liked it. They have a portfolio. They have a dashboard. It's sort of one thing. They did sync with a lot of coins, exchanges, and wallets. Just a few that weren't able to sync automatically that I had to do manually. They have tax loss harvesting that's implemented the best of any application I saw. I could not figure out how to implement 2FA with Koinly, but the data is encrypted. They did have a ton of flagged transactions, which is good. I think that's accurate. The price for 1,000 transactions for Koinly is $99 per year, and the user experience I rated at an 8.5. It was fantastic. All right, 2 more apps. And these last 2 are neat ones. The next one we're going to look at is called CoinPanda.io. CoinPanda is one of the newer CryptoTax apps. It was founded in 2019, and all the other CryptoTax apps were founded in 2018 or 2017, so they've had a longer time to mature, but CoinPanda is fantastic. I really liked this program. It says that they sync with over 900 exchanges and wallets. Again, all of these claims that these applications make with how many wallets, exchanges, and coins they sync with are inaccurate. Because once you get in there and you start adding your own data, you'll see how many they really sync with. They do have a truly free plan with CoinPanda with an unlimited number of transactions that you can upload and track your information on CoinPanda without paying them anything. All the other applications have a limit with the number of transactions you can upload before you have to pay. I didn't hit that limit, so I don't know what it is, but CoinPanda's is free with an unlimited number of uploaded transactions. When you log in, you're presented with this really nice dashboard. Again, it's a lot like Koinly, maybe not as thorough or well developed, but it's a really good dashboard, and I like having that home base when you log in. It shows you the value of your portfolio, the cost basis right at the top, and the change in the last 24 hours, so you can see if you're up or down for the day. And then the graph, of course, shows you the value of the portfolio along with the cost basis. And on the right-hand side, the tax year, you can see your short-term gains, long-term gains for that particular tax year, along with the income, the costs and expenses. And then at the bottom is, like most of them, have a list of your assets. And again, if you click on one of the assets, it expands and shows you what wallet holds what number of your assets. And in this case, it also shows you the allocation. That is, how much of the total number of assets that wallet has, like 50% or 20%, etc. The list of assets on CoinPanda was beautifully accurate, really well done. And on the right side, it does show you a little graph of the performance of that particular asset over the last 7 days. There's also a little drop down that you can use to select cryptocurrencies, NFTs, or even fiat if you want to have a list of the fiat transactions, the list of the fiat holdings you have. Then as we move along the top, of course, there's a wallet section where you can add wallets and exchanges, a tab for transactions that can be sorted a number of different ways. And then we get to tax reports where you have a list of your tax reports that are available. Again, it's the standard Schedule 1, Schedule D, and 8949, but there could be more behind a paywall. And then the last tab is what's called Portfolio, where they have an NFT center, and again, a list of all of the NFTs, including the junk ones, which was not great. They do have a tax loss harvesting function that is well designed, not as well as Koinly, but it's a good one. And you can see if you sold a particular asset, how much savings you would have off your capital gains for the year, which is great. And then they also have a list of the performance of all of the cryptocurrencies on exchanges, and that is called markets. So you can check the performance of any asset that you want. And I'm looking at, they have 268 pages. Each page has 50 tokens, and I'm not going to do the math, but that is a crazy amount of tokens. So you can check the performance of your favorite cryptocurrencies right within the CoinPanda tax app. So they have a really neat dashboard. They have a portfolio section. They sync with crazy amount of exchanges. I had to do 1 or 2 manual transactions, but it was really pretty automatic. Very nicely done. They synced with the most wallets and exchanges of any of the applications. They do have tax loss harvesting calculations. They do have 2FA, and the data they secure is encrypted. They have a list of flagged transactions. They have the normal tax schedules and forms available. For the pricing for 100 transactions for CoinPanda is $99. Again, very reasonable. And I thought the user experience was a 9 out of 10. Fantastic. Now, let's take a look at our very last one, and thanks for hanging in there with me. This one is called CoinTracker.io. When you first sign into CoinTracker, you're presented with, of all things, a dashboard, and it is really well organized. On the left side, you have the portfolio value and the performance of your portfolio over time. You do not have the cost basis on that graph, but on the right side, it shows you your unrealized return and the cost basis in the upper right corner. So it's available there, but not a graph of the cost basis. Beneath that, you have your tax summary for every year, including your gains and your income for that year. And then, like every other program, you have your assets, and each asset is expandable, and you can see which wallet holds which number of assets. Also, included in your list of assets is the unrealized return, that is, unrealized profit or unrealized loss for each asset. Again, really well implemented and super clean. Coming across the top, you have a transactions tab. You can sort by any number of things. You have a wallets tab where you can add different crypto wallets and exchanges. And then you have a performance tab, which no other application has. And this is where things get really interesting. Now, part of it is hidden by a paywall, but if you look really carefully, you can see that the assets are in the background and they give you more information about the performance of that asset in terms of how much you've gained and how much you've lost, so you can plan your tax maneuvers. And your portfolio diversification is listed in the lower left on a really neat interactive pie chart, and it gives you a tax loss harvesting summary on the lower right there. And then there's a second tab called Unrealized Return, where they get more granular with your unrealized capital gains or losses, so you can plan your taxes accordingly. And then your total return on the third tab, and more granular information about the performance of your portfolio. So again, no other tax app has this portfolio performance tab, and it is really well done. Then the next tab is your tax forms. The standard tax forms are available, and also some reports that other tax applications have as well. And then there's a More tab, and in the More tab, there's 4 more tabs. I guess they ran out of room. One of the tabs under the More tab is called Tips. There's not really anything under there. Then Tax Loss Harvesting tab, and this is a specific area designed to help you determine your tax loss harvesting possibilities. Really well done and really thorough. It's hidden behind a paywall, but you can kind of get a sense of what you might benefit from there. There's an NFT center, and this is the only NFT area in any application that filtered the NFTs and removed all the junk NFTs for me. I have purchased 5 NFTs in my life, and they're listed in this area, and no junk NFTs made it in here, which was really nice. And then, like the CoinPanda app, they have a crypto prices area, and you can make a really neat watch list as well by just starring the tokens that you want to keep in a watch list. And again, you can track hundreds and hundreds of prices of tokens. They give you the circulating supply, the performance over the last 24 hours. It is really thorough. You would never have to leave this CoinTracker app in order to check prices or anything like that. So really, really neat. Very well done. So CoinTracker has a dashboard, a portfolio, separate areas. The dashboard is sort of an overview, and then they have a portfolio performance area that is second to none. They sync with many, many exchanges, wallets, and tokens. Not quite as many as CoinPanda, but really close. And the tax loss harvesting feature is fantastic. They do have 2FA and the data is encrypted. They do have many flagged transactions, so I think it's fairly accurate. Schedule 1D and 8949 are available. I did not see FBAR, FinCEN, or FATCA, but it might be behind a paywall. Now, here's where things get tricky. The pricing for CoinTracker for 1,000 transactions is $249. So more than 2.5 times most of the other programs. Most of the other programs are $99. ZenLedger is $127, and then CoinTracker is $249. Now, here's the thing. I put a lot of my data into CoinTracker to see how accurate it was, more than the other applications, and it still lists only 500 transactions, whereas some of the other programs list 2,000, 2,700 transactions that I've uploaded to them. I don't know what CoinTracker is counting as a transaction and what it's not, but it's being very generous. And so you wouldn't necessarily need the 1,000 transaction pay level. And the next level down happens to be $99. So that might be the most appropriate level. But when you do the $99 level of payment for CoinTracker, you lose some of the functionality. So you just have to decide what it's worth to you. After going through all of these crypto tax apps with me, I bet you're wondering which one that I would recommend most. Now, I've been using ZenLedger for 7 years, and it's a really good program for accuracy, but it's very difficult to use and mostly manual. Now, after I've experienced these other crypto tax apps, I'm going to be switching to CoinTracker. It's a little more expensive than the other ones if you want all the functionality, but you don't have to have the portfolio functionality or the tax loss harvesting functionality. You don't have to have that, and you can still pay the $99, but I think it's worth it. CoinTracker is the most expensive crypto tax app I tested, at least for 1,000 transactions, but it was really polished. And while I didn't pay that yet, I think I'm going to be switching to CoinTracker. It is a really neat application, and it made syncing my data with it relatively simple. And its interface is easy to learn. It's comfortable. I love the dashboard, and I just think it's going to be a neat experience to use. I gave CoinPanda a user experience rating of a 9 out of 10. I'd give CoinTracker like a 9.2 out of 10, just a little better than CoinPanda. CoinPanda is another really good option, especially for those who are a little more budget conscious. Thank you so much for watching. That was a lot of information. I hope that I helped you make your crypto tax season a little easier. These programs are all good. Again, my recommendations are CoinPanda if for the more budget conscious, and CoinTracker for the full experience. You can sign up for these for free. I have links down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.